Hey, welcome in! Now, we all love NCAA Football 14, but man, does it have its issues. Some of the team's uniforms look whack. In Dynasty mode, when recruiting new players, there are far too many white cornerbacks and far too many black kickers. 'Cause come on, right? And then team schedules in Dynasty mode are laughably absurd. Same goes for the BCS Rankings that just boggle the mind. And also, anyone who's played the game has to know this. Unless I've been stuck over here with a factory defect. The computer doesn't know how to manage the clock! I've got tons of footage that I'll show you towards the end of this video. You gotta see this. I'll elaborate on these issues later, but first, a little backstory. Hi, my name is David Johnson. Welcome to the Dave Show University YouTube channel, where we play a lot of NCAA Football 14 on here. I bought this game after discovering hordes of YouTubers making videos for their Teambuilder dynasties, and noticing that there was a considerably large audience for this kind of content. Guys are getting paid! This is what I used to do all the time as a kid, even before they had created teams. I would draw them. And if I still had them, I'd show you the horrible drawings. Now, I actually discovered the Teambuilder website years ago and would use it to create my own uniform concepts for several teams in college football, or colleges that didn't have football. But I was always hesitant to buy the actual game, because I knew deep down it would fail on so many levels. The last in the series I got was NCAA Football 07. And I hated it so much, I barely played it. I also have NCAA Football 04 and had a lot of fun with it, but ultimately the cons outweighed the pros for me. Neither had Teambuilder, where you could upload your own logo. That's the clincher. So I was all gung-ho about bringing back to life the team I rooted for as a child, my hometown's Pacific Tigers, who stopped playing football after the 1995 season. Eventually, to avoid any legal ramifications, I settled on uploading my own logo and dressing up as my favorite team when I was a kid, and most of my adulthood, the Florida State Seminoles. Especially since it's an option in Teambuilder to use existing logos and helmets. My actual uniforms would look similar to what the Seminoles wore back in the early 90s when I was a kid. And I'd be using this platform to protest any changes the school has made to their logos and uniforms since. Especially that Ignition Tradition disaster back in 2014. I got inspired. 5 years later, 5 seasons later, here we are. The pros have outweighed the cons in this video game, but it's a hell of a lot more fun to talk about the cons. So, in honor of completing 5 seasons with my Florida State-inspired Teambuilder school, here are the 5 biggest fails of NCAA Football 14. Number 5. Some of the uniforms are off. This is supposed to be Florida State in their gold pants. Forget about it. Their gold pants look white. I don't understand this. And this is supposed to be Alabama. Crimson Tide. More like the Maroon Tide. Am I right? Side by side, Alabama and Mississippi State look like they're wearing the same color. Taking a look at real life, not quite. And when my Teambuilder team played Rice earlier this year, why the hell did they have numbers on their shoulders and sleeves? Overall, the uniforms in this game look awesome, but you can't mess up Florida State and Alabama. Oh, Florida State messes themselves up, but Alabama, you gotta get that one right. Number 4. Too much diversity for incoming freshmen. I'm scrolling through the top cornerbacks in college football, and all but one of them are black. Scroll through the top corner prospects in Dynasty mode, you get a healthy dose of white guys. What? Even go through the top athlete prospects. I'm blinded by the white. And this goes both ways. I'm scrolling through the top kickers in college football, and it looks like a cloudy day. Scroll through the kicker prospects in Dynasty mode, and it's getting dark in here. Is it too much to ask to be a tad bit realistic here? I feel like an ass. I gotta change the colors of my new players every year. Number 3. Awful schedules. Check out Notre Dame's schedule in the second year of my dynasty. 9 home games, mostly against cupcakes, and Notre Dame's never scheduled an FCS team in their history. Also, we had USC, who's never played an FCS team, opening with one. Georgia Tech finishes their season with 3 straight road games. Georgia gets 3 straight road games against ranked opponents, but I guess gets to recover with 5 straight at home. Iowa gets 4 road games in a row. And all of Virginia Tech's non-conference games are against the Pac-12. Miami was only scheduled to play 11 games, and in year 4, so is UCF. More on that later. In 5 seasons with my Teambuilder school, as members of the SEC, we've been forced to play at LSU 3 times, while the Tigers have yet to visit us. My fingers are crossed that it could happen next year. Number 2. Awful BCS Rankings. This game came out prior to the final season of the BCS, and if you thought the BCS was bad in real life, you ain't seen nothing yet. Back in year 4, UCF made it to the BCS National Championship game and lost to Ohio State. As mentioned earlier, they only had to play 11 games to get there. Their one loss came against 11-1 4th-ranked Marshall. So UCF, with only 1 win over a team with a winning record by the way, got in over not only 12-1 3rd-ranked UCLA, but also 1-loss Marshall who beat them. UCF didn't even win their conference, and 12-1 Miami was stuck at number 6. Let's go back to year 2. We had an undefeated Georgia Tech team taking on a 2-loss USC team in the national championship, with one of their losses coming at home against a 4-8 Oregon State. Meanwhile, you've got Miami sitting at 3 with 1 loss, that being a close defeat at Georgia Tech. And remember, they also only had to play 11 games. Then you've also got the 12-1 SEC champion South Carolina Gamecocks sitting at 4. It's like this game doesn't even try. It's offensive. I mean, this past season, I just pretty much ignored the rankings. And number 1, horrible clock management. And speaking of not trying, this is when the game just gives up and lets you win. We've got a 1-point lead over Florida with under a minute to go. Gators with the ball in their own territory and all 3 timeouts left. We sacked our quarterback, and instead of calling a timeout, they decide to go no huddle. And not only do they decide to go no huddle, they intentionally let the clock run out. Stumped at the swamp, I guess. With under a minute to go, Missouri with a 6-point lead has the ball deep in our own territory. We've already used all our timeouts, but they decided to throw, resulting in an interception in the end zone. We end up driving right downfield and scoring the winning touchdown with 22 seconds left. Thank you, Mizzou. I sat and watched Louisiana Lafayette battle Michigan State in the Rose Bowl. I know, right? Down by 7 with 15 seconds to go, they complete a pass over the middle and decide to go no huddle instead of calling their final timeout. The clock ticks away and the game is over. Did they forget? I sat and watched Oklahoma battle UConn in the Fiesta Bowl. Again, I know, right? OU's down by 1 with the ball in their own territory and all 3 timeouts left. Their quarterback gets sacked, and instead of calling a timeout, they decide to go no huddle, with one receiver having to run all the way back from the other side of the field. They'd finally call a timeout after the ensuing play, but would fail to convert on 4th down. Boomer losers. Back to that Trojan Jacket national title game. With just over 3 minutes to go, SC down 3 facing 4th down in their own territory, lined up to punt it away. They intentionally let the clock run down an extra 40 seconds. Fight off? There are many other times where scenarios similar to these would play out near the end of the first half. But what I've showed you here are the biggest fails that I've encountered.
Biggest fail we've encountered is you playing the game.
Where did you come from? You weren't going to be in this one.
I got tired of hearing your bitching from the other room, okay? Let's wrap this one up.
My bitching? That's all you do.
I keep it real, cuz. Now, let's end this.
Before I do, I've got a couple honorable mentions. The first, the Teambuilder website hasn't been functioning properly for over 5 months as of February 2019, and it seems like EA Sports are being total about it. Don't know what their problem is.
Probably assholes like you trashing their games.
Whatever, they deserve it. Check this out. We've got the Catholics versus the Convicts here in the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame is down by 4 with 5 seconds to go. Let's hear Brad Nessler with the call.
Halfback's got it on the quick throw.
That happens all the time. A touchdown is scored, and then nothing.
If you hate the game so much, then quit playing it.
Actually, I love this game.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get to the 6th season of Dave Show Truckers Football. So be sure to subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss a moment of the action. For Harry Downer, I'm David Johnson. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to leave feedback in the comments below of what you think of this video. And we'll see you at the next show. Roll Truckers!